Well, hello and welcome to SoCal Prep Report. I'm Randy Roosevelt. I'm joined momentarily by Tarek of SB Live. Another big week of high school basketball in Southern California. The playoffs are underway. We're going to talk about Chatsworth basketball in a moment. Dax Grooms, their fine coach, will join us momentarily. But Tarek, it's that time of the year I know you love the most, prep basketball playoffs.
That's right. It's win or go home, unless, of course, you're in the Southern Section Open Division, and we'll get to that here in a moment. But win or go home, there's really nothing like it in high school sports. You got to put your best foot forward.
A couple of games in the city section from last week, which really defined how the playoff brackets came along. So we're going to start with Washington Prep with a 55-54 victory over King Drew. This surprised a lot of people. King Drew was the favorite.
Yeah, no, stunner, shocker, surprising. Those are the words you think of, because King Drew, in my opinion, might have the best man-to-man defense in the city. And because the city has so much parity, and we're not quite sure who's going to win the Open Division, right? 1 through 8, you could mishmash those seedings and still get a different winner on any given scenario. So King Drew losing was surprising, especially given their good defense.
Cleveland Chatsworth for the West Valley League Championship, and this really was for the #1 seed in the tournament. This game actually went into overtime. You could see that Kamari King had 30 points and Soldier Niles with a big game, a double-double, a 5-point OT victory for the Cavaliers.
Yeah, not so much a surprise just because these games are really, really tight. Either team could have won the game. Obviously, Kamari King is their best player for Cleveland. And like you mentioned, that game clearly indicated who got the #1 seed in the city. I know we'll talk about that here in a second, but if Chatsworth wins that game, maybe they're the #1 seed or a higher seed. We don't know, but kudos to Cleveland, not only getting to the Open for the first time, but getting the #1 seed.
Yeah, and again, it might not matter, as Tarek alluded to, they're all equal. Here are the top 4 seeds. Cleveland got the #1. #2, not a giant surprise, went to King Drew. Birmingham 3 and Westchester 4. Now, Westchester is going to match up in the 4-5 game with Chatsworth, and we're going to bring in Dax Grooms in a little bit to talk about that. That should be a very interesting game.
Yeah, every matchup here, again, as I alluded to, Palisades, King Drew, Birmingham, Grant, it doesn't matter. It kind of reminds me of the NBA, if I'm being honest. These guys just want to get into the playoffs. They don't care. I always tell people home field advantage in the NFL is different than home court advantage. You got to go to Lambeau Field and play in cold weather. That's an advantage. In basketball, these guys just want to get into the playoff, and the city section is very, very similar, especially today in today's Open Division, because we don't know. There's really no favorite, okay? Anyone can beat anybody, and so being on the road does not matter.
Let's check out some of the key games in the CIF Southern section. We'll start with Harvard-Westlake winning the Mission League over Crespi. Not a great surprise, but Harvard-Westlake really took it to the Crespi Celts and blew them out.
Well, I think what you saw was Crespi with that game-winning shot over Sierra Canyon. It was like a warning shot to Harvard-Westlake. So they weren't going to surprise 2 good teams in a row. Wasn't going to happen. Harvard-Westlake was ready at home, and they win, I believe, what is their 6th straight Mission League title, and I think 3rd or 4th Mission League tournament in a row.
And as of note, since all this came out, 6 teams from the Mission League went into the playoffs, and they're 6-0 already.
Right. So the other 2 are going to be in the Open. They play on Friday night. But the first 6 teams that played in the first round of various divisions on Wednesday night all won their game. So some were on the road, some were at home, but all those teams won, and it's just an indicator of how strong that league is.
Well, the Mission League's probably the best Southern Section league. Maybe the West Valley League is the best league in the city section. We now have Dax Grooms with us from Chatsworth High School, and I think Dax might have just gone away, so having some problems with his feed. So we wish Dax good fortune in coming back on. Hope to see him in a moment. So that'll take us to the Roosevelt-Eastvale game over Corona Centennial in the Big 8 in the Southern section. The score right there is indicated, 72-66. This breaks a Centennial 70-game winning streak in the Big 8.
Yeah, it's surprising to hear of anything in high school going that long, but very, very impressive streak. League victories, right? Centennial is the 3-time defending Open Division champion. And had 70 games in a row winning in the Big 8 League, but Roosevelt finally takes him down and wins their first league title, I believe, since 2018.
And Braden Burry's a big game with 31
Yeah,
points.
31 points, really, really terrific player, 5-star recruit, junior. Everyone's all over him. He's going to be the hottest recruit as he gets into his senior year.
You know, Dax Grooms was a tremendous player at Kennedy High School, very elusive, and he's elusive to get on camera. But we finally got him now. Dax, good evening. Now, look at that smile. Great to have you aboard on SoCal Prep Report. Dax, tell us about your Chatsworth team. You're coming off a heartbreaking loss at the end of the year to Cleveland. You could have been the #1 seed, but I know you got to feel pretty confident if you took the top seed into overtime in your chances to do very well in this open division. Well, it looks like he froze up. He doesn't freeze up when he's coaching on the sideline. That's the most important thing.
I got to see Chatsworth play against Cleveland earlier in the year. I wasn't at that last game, but in their first round of league play, that game came down to the wire. Of course, everyone's talking about Alijah Arenas at Chatsworth. He's averaging 30 points a game. He's the son of former San Fernando Valley legend at Grant High, Gilbert Arenas, Agent Zero, as they all call him in the NBA. And he's a very, very talented player, only a sophomore.
Let's try Dax one more time. By the way, did you know Dax played head-to-head against Gilbert Arenas? Let's find out how that matchup went. Dax, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here. I don't know what's going on. It must be the weather. I mean, I got to play against Gilbert, and the best you could do is try to hold him under 30 points. That's about all you can do. He was averaging 30 to 40 points, consistently 50. So it's great just to be, from the Valley and, seeing all the guys that I played against, and then now see their kids. It's an honor.
Yeah, you were at Kennedy High School. I heard you actually did pretty well against him. How'd you do scoring the ball when you played against Gilbert Arenas?
I did okay. I don't fill the bucket up as much as he fills the bucket up. So you can probably cut whatever he had in half.
Dax, I got to watch Alijah earlier in the year, and I was very surprised by his confident and mature demeanor. I just felt like he didn't react too much when he would get fouled or, a charge would get called on him. He doesn't freak out or anything like that. Just kind of jogs back on defense, continues to play, tries to get his teammates involved, and can pretty much turn it on whenever he wants. Talk about his maturity at such a young age. A lot of eyes are on him already.
Yeah, he's been built for basketball, man. The dude has been created in a laboratory for this. So he's just kind of, I am surprised too. I'm surprised also he doesn't even hit the floor that much. I don't even ever see him hit the ground. He kind of wiggles through in and out and, contact and everything. But yeah, he's tremendous. We call it, it's hard for us to kind of anticipate what teams are going to do because they kind of run the Alijah defense, which is just kind of a box and one, zone it up, double team, blitz them, all kind of different variations of just shift the defense over to him. So, every game he kind of has to adjust and see what's going on. But yeah, he's really, like I said, built for it. He enjoys it. He keeps his composure. That's what I like. He doesn't get too excited, maybe on a dunk or two or a block or an assist. But yeah, he kind of has the composure to kind of just, even kill that you need to perform at that high level that he does.
As these highlights show, he really makes it look easy. What about the supporting cast around Alijah? How are they coming along, and what kind of chance will they give you to win an Open Division championship in the LA City section?
Oh, the supporting cast has been they've been great. We got Taj Unonakale. He's only a junior. He's a stud in volleyball too. He won the Open Division championship for volleyball last year, so we're going to lean on his experience playing in the playoffs. But he's been a monster in the paint. We got the freshman TJ Phillips, who's been lights out in league shooting the ball. And then we got our senior leadership with Nas Jones, and then we got another junior. So we kind of got a lot of underclassmen. We got some seniors too. So we had a little taste of experience last year in the playoffs, losing a heartbreaker at Grant. But we get to avenge our playoff loss from last year and try against Westchester when we lost them a few years ago in the playoffs, actually. So on a program level, personal note, it would be nice to go down there and get one down there that we could have won previous years.
Tell us a little bit about Westchester. What's maybe like key to the game, Coach?
Key to the game, really is like I told our guys, if we play smart and hard, then we give ourselves a chance, and we probably win against a lot of the teams. Westchester, they have some athletes. It's a top tier program in the city section. They're always there. They got numerous championships and NBA players, and they play in one of the toughest. They probably play the toughest league in the city. We play in the toughest league in the valley. They're ready for this. They're built for this. They have you go walk in that gym, you're gonna look up and see all these different banners and numbers and all the success they've had. So that's could be a little intimidating, but I think our guys are ready. But they have a solid group. They got some good wing players, that can cause some problems and get going. The toughest thing for us is, and I've been telling our team, is like it's kind of the Elijah factor. Everybody is excited to play us and get up for us, and so we kind of know that by now. But it's still their kids. It's still hard to emulate in practice and get them ready, for that challenge of. It's almost kind of like, Lakers or Celtics when they play teams. It's like, man, you're getting, or Sierra Kings where you're getting like the other team's best shot, whether you're playing your best or not. So, we played a tough schedule. So hopefully that schedule, playing all those tough games against city teams and Southern Section teams will, get us ready.
It sounds like you got your hands full at the house. Maybe more than you will on the court tomorrow at Westchester with the kids having some fun there. But last ad, the fact that it's so wide open to win the championship, you got to feel optimistic, even though you're on the road, even though you're playing a determined Westchester Common team, like you have just as good a chance to win the city title as anybody else.
Yeah, that's what us coaches have been talking about. We've been all year long like, man, what's going to happen with the playoffs in the city section? It's wide open. There's no dominant team, so somebody's gonna pull it together during this open division playoffs and crown themselves. They're gonna go on a little run. So it's good because it's there's different. Obviously, for us, we come from the tough league, so we're kind of used to these tough games, but also that could hurt you in where we play too many tough games, and so we'll see tomorrow if. Going through the gauntlet of the West Valley and then playing a tough non-league schedule. We played a bunch of Mission League teams, so hopefully that will help us prevail.
Well, Dax, good luck tomorrow night. Thanks for coming aboard, and we'll see how you guys do in the Open Division.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Nice seeing you guys.
You got it. He's been around a while, played at Kennedy High School. He's coached the Chancellors, and he's got them in a position where anybody can win that tournament.
I'll say this. I don't know if... I wouldn't say Chatsworth is by any means the favorite. However, in high school, and you'll agree with this, if you've got the best kid out there, whether it be the best kid on the field or the court, you always have a chance. And I would argue Elijah Arenas is the best player in the whole city.
Well, looking at the highlights, he looks like a man amongst boys out there. He's just mature, and his dad, as we all know, was great at Grant High School in the Valley, and his dad says his son's better than he is, so we'll see. Anyway, we'll see how the Chancellors do in the Open Division starting tomorrow night. Getting back to the CIF games, one last game I do want to talk about. It was the baseline game to win the league title. Damien over Etowanda fairly substantially. You can see 61-49 there. The big center, Nate Garcia's 7-foot junior, had a big night, 28 points.
Both these teams almost eliminated themselves from the Open Division. I'm not so sure either one of them gets into the Open if they would have swept each other, per se, in baseline league play. But they're so competitive that they each gave each other a loss. So it kind of bounced them into the Division I bracket, and both will be very, very formidable in that division.
Well, the Spartans win the baseline league championship, and congratulations to them. Now, what everybody's been waiting for all night long, Tarek Fatal's final top 10 from the regular season. Here it is, Harvard-Westlake, Now impressed with Roosevelt Eastville since you saw him play, and down you go all the way to Wynwood, who's on a 15-game winning streak.
So doesn't this mean that Harvard Westlake's going to lose tomorrow night?
Probably so. Yeah.
No, man. These are the final rankings of the year. I know that some outlets do rankings during the playoffs. I never understood why that is. Teams aren't playing anymore, and so on and so forth. So this is it. The gauntlet has been run. Harvard Westlake begins the season number 2 and finishes number 1. Notre Dame, I put at 5, even though technically they weren't in the top 8 in the section because they're not in the open division. But I think that was a little bit, I have my opinions on that. But hey, the committee made their decision, and nevertheless, the open division field is very competitive.
I want your opinion in a moment here. Okay, so here are the top 4 seeds, and we are going to talk about Notre Dame in a moment.
Sure.
Harvard Westlake number 1, Roosevelt Eastville number 2, Mater Dei number 3, St. John Bosco number 4.
Yep.
That's the seeding. Now, Notre Dame being left out of the open division, they went to Crean last night in D1 and won in overtime. Not easy, but Notre Dame did win last night. How much of a travesty is it that Notre Dame isn't in the open division?
I wouldn't quite call it a travesty. However, I believe they were more deserving than maybe a team that got in. If it were up to me,
it's up to you.
If it were up to me, I probably would have left Jay Sarah out and put Notre Dame in. I do believe St. Pius was deserving. You could probably argue more that maybe Jay Sarah gets in and Notre Dame gets in and St. Pius is out. I won't get into too much detail. That's all on scorebooklive.com if you want to read that coverage. But I think Notre Dame was well deserving. However, if you look at their schedule, they went all in on performing in the Mission League tournament and Mission League play, and they didn't do that, and that's probably why they got out.
A name I'm going to throw out there, Paul Biancardi. Okay, this is the chap. He's an ESPN National Recruiting Director.
Right.
Now, talk about dissing someone. He did not have Mercy Miller, the great star, on his way to Houston from Notre Dame, in the top 100 players in the country. What is Paul talking about?
Well, I kind of want to flip this on you. You've been around a long time. You've watched a lot of basketball. I know you're not on the recruiting trail and stuff like that, but just the little that you know about the top 100 players in the country, don't you think it's ridiculous that Mercy Miller isn't on that list? I want to ask you first.
Well, I think bottom line, it might have been a case where Biancardi was looking for publicity. They were going to do a Notre Dame game on ESPN, right?
Okay, I like that.
This might be a little bit of reverse psychology just to make it a topic. Why isn't he in my top 100? When he says he's 101. Well, he's making a story out of that. So I don't know if he really believed that or if he just wanted to make a story.
Well, he got pretty testy with it. I'll take 30 seconds here. When I asked him about it, he was not happy that I was interviewing him. I said that Mercy Miller not being in the top 100 was criminal. I tweeted that, and he saw that tweet, and he had a problem with that. He said, I think that tweet was amateur, Tarek, and he kind of got on me about that.
Like I said, the guy didn't know anything. He was completely offline. There was no story there. He was just flat out wrong. How's that?
Yeah, I mean, why not just say, hey, man, my job is really difficult. I'm watching thousands of players, and the list is tough, and you know what? This is a guy that fell through the cracks. None of that. It was. He kind of doubled down, and he looked at me and he said, yeah, he's probably about 101. Now, in his defense, he didn't mean 101 literally, but just more so figuratively, like it's so close you could put him at 101. It's like, stop.
It's ridiculous.
It is, right? He scored
ridiculous.
68 points in a high school game.
I know. In 29 minutes.
Unbelievable.
All right, enough about Paul Biancardi. Key games in the playoffs in the open division.
Sure.
Corona Centennial, Harvard Westlake to start. That is a doozy.
Well, I think the headline for that is McDonald's All-American versus McDonald's All-American. It just makes it more fun. I'm not saying that's the end-all, be-all, but that's where I'll be on Friday night at Harvard Westlake, the 1 seed versus the 8 seed. Be on the lookout for a column I have tomorrow. No, without getting into too much detail, the tiebreaker, if there's so much parity this year, there could be a 3-way tie, and the tiebreaker, let me just say, gives the advantage to the lower seeds in the field. So that's the truth.
I know it's on a point system. The whole thing's ridiculous.
Yeah, okay. So you kind of agree, though.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Okay,
I don't even
okay.
understand the pool system. I like just do or die and move on, but they have a pool system.
Okay.
And I don't think that's the headline with the two All-Americans. I think the headline is Corona Centennials trying to win the Open Division for the third straight year.
Fourth straight year.
Fourth, that's even a better headline.
Yeah, they're three-time defending champs.
Okay, so that to me is remarkable.
Absolutely.
Jay Serra at St. John Bosco. Now, I think Jay Serra is better than you think they are.
That's fair, yeah.
I think they got a great chance, but Bosco went all the way to the finals last year.
Sure. It'll be a great game. Jay Serra did lose to St. John Bosco twice this year, so this will be the third time they play. Jay Serra, in my opinion, they just have the two guys that, hey, in high school basketball, you can get away with that. You can get away with two really good players and guys that play their role and know their identity, and they have a good coach in Keith Wilkinson. Totally get it. However, I just think two guys isn't enough in the Open because you got to do it through 3 games. Sebastian
Rancic and Fowler
Rancic.
are pretty
That's
good.
right.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay, Jay Serra at Roosevelt. I think we both agree Roosevelt should win, but Jay Serra is a good basketball team. Sierra Canyon, Bosco's. Did I mix up the teams?
I think you did.
I think I'm getting a little. No, there's too many games here.
Yeah,
Sierra Canyon,
yeah,
St. John,
yeah,
Bosco.
yeah.
There, this is the game.
Yeah.
This is an interesting
That's
game.
okay. Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to go with the flow. Yeah,
No,
as
that
they
was
say,
very good. You
if
tried to save me.
It's improv, right? If you say my hair's on fire, then I got to go with it. This game is really intriguing. I think Sierra Canyon has the slight edge, although they are on the road. St. John Bosco has no Cade Bonham, who's a really good player.
Right.
Although you might argue St. John Bosco might be playing better offensively without Cade Bonham, one less mouth to feed. I don't know. Interesting game.
Pius Mater Dei is another interesting game. Pius is a team that's very, very talented, great record. Mater Dei is deep, tough game to call.
It is a tough game to call. However, Mater Dei was my pick to win the whole thing, and now I'm changing it because Brandon Martinson is out for the year. He hurt himself against St. John Bosco, and Brandon Martinson's the star sophomore. He's their best player. Mater Dei's still very good, deep, great players, but I just don't see them winning the whole thing without their best player. I'm not saying St. Pius is winning that game, but it'll be much closer. I don't know if Mater Dei wins the whole thing anymore.
Let's get some of the key games for the Open Division. There's the Jay Serra game against Roosevelt, and we both agree Roosevelt's the favorite at home there. But key games in the Open City Division, and we could just give them out in full here.
Sure.
You can pick a game. Laces at Cleveland. We've talked about Chatsworth at Westchester. Pally at King Drew, and Grant at Birmingham. The game to me that's the most interesting is the Pally King Drew game, because the way Palisades played at the beginning of the year, they were horrible. They were 1-11.
Well, you have to remember they went through this catastrophic this influx of transfers, like they were going to conquer the world. They did it all wrong, so all those kids left. They got deemed ineligible. Their coach got fired, basically. The AD had to be the interim coach for a little bit. Then they hired a real interim coach. Hey, it's a credit to the program and to the athletic department and the athletic staff to get things on track and get these guys back into the Open. I don't know how far they'll go.
King Drew's a young team, so they do have a chance to win. I
Sure.
do think King Drew has a lot of talent, will probably win the game, but it's a young King Drew team. All right, let's turn our attention to girls basketball in the city section. The top 4 teams, Birmingham, Westchester, Hamilton, and King Drew. Here are the key games from the Open Division. First, Crenshaw at Birmingham. Birmingham is the top seed. Mitchell, a young player, very talented. They're the favorite there.
Unlike what we've been talking about earlier in the show with the parity and the city and the southern section, it's not quite the same on the girls' side in both the southern section and the city section. City section, I think it's likely going to be Birmingham and Westchester, if I'm not mistaken. It's just a crash course, and they just need to take care of business en route.
Yeah, we'll just show the matchups. Palisades will play at King Drew. There's that game. And again, Pally's had a great program over the years, not quite as strong. El Camino Real at Westchester. Westchester has won the last 2 championships. Blake is a phenomenal talent. Granada Hills, which is down by their standards, coaching change last year. At Hamilton, which is a program that's kind of lost in the shadow of Westchester, but it's a very good program. All right, the CIF's top 4 seeds, and again, there's an imbalance here with Sierra Canyon 1, Etiwanda 2. They're the dominant squads. Ontario Christian and Mater Dei. And we'll look at their 4 games. Orangewood Academy playing at Sierra Canyon. Sierra Canyon with the great McKinley Randolph. big favorite there. Centennial at Etowanda. Etowanda's a huge favorite there. Any thoughts about that?
Well, here's a clip of Kalina Smith, the freshman from Ontario Christian. I mean, look, she just crosses the timeline and shoots it from the volleyball line. Let this clip run again. Let this clip run again. She dribbles over half court, pulls up on the volleyball line, and it goes straight through. I mean, she is a terrific talent. If the McDonald's All-American game took underclassmen, she'd be in it. Again, only a freshman, and I just want to give a quick little forward look. I think Ontario Christian and Etowanda will go 2-0 and play each other on February 17th, which will be kind of like a semifinal, and I think Etowanda will win the game.
Yeah, I agree with you. Sage Hill plays at Mater Dei. Sinesta Cotton is outstanding for Mater Dei. She's a tremendous talent, so it figures to be Mater Dei moving forward there, but in the end of the night, end of the tournament, it's going to come down to Etowanda and Sierra Canyon. I don't think there's any question.
This is a clip of Sierra Canyon. This is Jersey Robinson. She's only a sophomore. And, you know, you just don't see a lot of this kind of movement in girls basketball. Look at her, sky for the rebound, grab the rebound with one hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dribbles down the floor, going around people and going for a layup through contact. So really, really talented teams. And I think you're right. Sierra Canyon and Etowanda are assigned for the championship, my friend.
Collision course.
That's right.
Of course, Jersey came in from Arizona, transferred in. Tremendous talent for Sierra Canyon. Preseason top 10 in baseball. We'll just look at it. This is the CIF rankings. Corona with a lot of D1 players. Their catchers, Josh Springer is great. They have 3 or 4 Division I pitchers. Harvard, Westlake, J. Sarah, Orange, Lutheran, and Huntington Beach. Notre Dame, Sherman Oaks, which is very strong every year in the Valley. Santa Margarita, Cypress, La Mirada, and Mater Dei.
Everyone's talking about Corona. They're loaded, and the roster on paper is just, how can this team lose? But, of course, as you know, it's baseball, and anything can go. So they'll be just fine throughout the year. They'll win some games. They'll win a lot of games. They'll lose a couple games here and there in some tournaments and things like that. But I expect Corona to be in the Division I playoffs, and that's where I'd like to, when I watch these teams play during the spring, I don't necessarily gauge them on how they're playing when I watch them, because I know over time they're going to get where they need to be. It's, can they win, how many games in a row can they win in the Division I playoffs? Because baseball is such a toss-up, and you need everything to be clicking at the right time to make that run.
And there's teams with great pitching staffs this year, in one game and you're out. So
exactly right.
Can happen.
Exactly right.
A couple notes from CIF Southern Section football. A couple quarterbacks. Bear Bachmeyer is committed. He's a Murrieta Valley performer to Stanford over Alabama and Oregon. His brother Tiger's on the Stanford team. Caleb Sanchez, who was so great at St. John Bosco for 4 seasons, was an understudy for a couple years, took over the job, and by his senior year really did some great things for the Braves, going to Columbia.
Yeah, really, really surprised. They actually, when St. John Bosco sent out the press release on who their signees were going to be for National Signing Days, his just said TBA. So we were all like, oh man, where's he going to go? And then Columbia, great pick, great kid, a story of loyalty, sticking around, patience, all that. And he had a great senior year. They had a great season, and now he's going to play college football, and he's going to the Ivy League.
This Sunday's the Super Bowl. We all know that. I had a chance to see Christian McCaffrey when he was a kid. Take a look at this clip real quick. Dawkins in the shotgun. They called the timeout, so they're certainly going to go for it. He has McCaffrey available. Christian McCaffrey is caught from behind with less than 30 seconds to go in the half. Dawkins in the shotgun. Yeah, you know, we can look at this a few times. It's always going to be a great catch. McCaffrey did a great job in this Youth All-American game as a runner as well as a pass receiver, and we see him do that in the backfield for the 49ers all the time. Of course, it's the 49ers and the Chiefs. And from the Chiefs' side, their perspective, Andy Reid. Here he is in 2012, being indoctrinated into and inducted to the Marshall High School Hall of Fame in Los Angeles.
Great pull, Randy. I actually think what's funny is the Christian McCaffrey highlight just has him as Chris McCaffrey. I think that's kind of funny, right?
But I did call him Christian.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, you know, and I don't know if that was just to get it all on the screen. I don't know, but I thought that was kind of funny. But great clips here with Andy Reid, obviously an LA native, and we're all proud of him.
Look at this. This is when Bob Gibson and I interviewed him for this show back in 2012.
What was he like?
Very nice.
Very nice.
He was very excited to be at the function.
That's cool.
The Hall of Fame. He was really into it and still is very close with a lot of the people at Marshall High School where he graduated. Congratulations to going into the Hall of Fame. Of course, Andy trying to win a second consecutive Super Bowl, which would be a tremendous accomplishment. Hadn't been done since 03-04 with the Patriots. Your pick.
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
It's so hard to pick against Mahomes.
I know.
People try to overthink it and go, oh, no, it's just, and he proves you wrong every time. Too much experience in that game.
You got a score?
Nah.
42-13 Kansas City.
Oh,
Take
my
it to the
gosh.
books.
No way. That's way too many points.
49-13 Kansas City. Take it to the books.
No.
Anyway, we'll talk to you next week. Tarek and I will be back. We'll have a lot of results from these open division games, and we'll have a few other topics as well on SoCal Prep Report. We'll see you then, everybody. Take care.
How
No
about
question, the Chiefs are going to blow them out.
How about Harbaugh, though?
Well, the Chargers aren't playing.
I know, but that's exciting. That's exciting that he's in
He says
town.
he's
That's
gonna win
cool.
some Super Bowls,
Oh,
too.
he's going to turn that thing around.
I hope so.
He's got a history of doing it.
Yeah, but Chiefs, big, huge.
No, the Chargers are going to win.